Oh, Jesus Christ. Stop. I didn't even put on
So
makeup.
here we are. Welcome, Caitriona from Enchanted Flowers, to our podcast this week. We're delighted to have you.
Delighted to be doing it with you. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. And that's going to be my first question. Tell me, when did you start in the flower industry and how did you get into it?
14 years ago, last May. Was it May? Easter. Easter, 14 years ago. My baby was born in January. You remember you were above it. My baby was 6 weeks old and I was coming up and I was like, oh my God, is my baby okay? Because I'd watched a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old and a 6-week-old. And my husband left at home in Cork and I was in Dublin playing with flowers. But anyway.
Playing with flowers.
It was great. I loved doing it.
Yeah. So, and what made you then, like, did you always want to open your own business, or what was that always your plan, or what was your plan?
It was never the plan, really. I always loved gardening and I was always making window boxes and hanging baskets and stuff for neighbours and things like that. And then the small fella was born and I got a bunch of flowers in the hospital and I was looking at it for a week because he was in the NICU. And I went, I can do that. And found yourselves then, and I said, right, I'm going to do this because I was out of work with the recession at the time and there was no job. So I said, right, I'm going to try this. And little did I know 4 months later I was opening the door, the 9th of July.
Wow. So opening the shop then. So you've a retail shop, and I know the shop you're in now is not the original shop that you opened, that you've moved a couple of times.
My third and final move. We're never moving.
Your third and final. So what was the biggest challenge for you? What was the hardest thing? Obviously, family, having young kids is probably one of them, but in the industry, what was your biggest challenge?
Knowing what to get in and what to bring in every week and what was going to sell, what wasn't going. Having enough flowers, because sure, you don't know, you could have nothing on a Monday. That was my biggest challenge at the start. The day that I was taking a fiver and I going, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent at the end of the month? And I mean, that rent was a third of what it is now every month. Yeah. And now I'm kind of going, oh yeah, I'm spending now a week on flowers. No, I'm spending now on a Monday on flowers. What my rent was when I started 14 years ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And the girl's like, that's an awful auction. I'm like, no, I'll be gone by Friday. Don't worry.
So what have you seen change then over the years? So like we say, as you say, like obviously what you're selling has changed. Have customers changed? Have what they want changed?
Yeah, a lot. I've noticed since we opened, we'll say before when I opened it was all kind of 30 euros, 40 euros max. Now they're coming in and they're spending 60, 70 euros because they're seeing the bouquets here made in the shop. And they're kind of going, oh yeah, I want that one. So if they see it made, they want it. But then we've the regulars that us with years and they're like, do you know that bouquet you made for my Auntie Mary there 6 months ago? Can you make that again? And we're like, what bouquet was that? And we'd be all there looking at each other going, can you remember what she made? But we do, we figure it out and we get it done.
Yeah.
And
so would most of yours be pre-made, like that you'd sell, or would you get many orders there? Or is it half and half?
This morning now the phone hasn't stopped ringing with birthdays, babies and exam results,
Okay. Right.
Going right, they've got their exam results. The panic is over from the weekend and they seem to be the big ones today.
I know your staff that's with you, Caitriona, like they've been with you for years, and I know Martina has been up here with us as well. How have you kept your staff for so long? Like what is it that is advice to other florists? I always
kids come first. So God forbid if they're in the shop and the school rings or something rings and I say, right, if you have to go for the kids, you have to go. Just go. And in turn we'll say, now I need to take them here late some evening because we're running late doing something. They stay because there's give and take. Do you know what I mean? And one of the girls, the summer holidays, she's taking Monday and Wednesday off all summer. And then when she comes back, we'll be into Christmas and she'll be working whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's give and take. And,
it is give and take, isn't it? And I do think in our industry, I think that's because, as you say, like you could get an order in at 5 o'clock and all of a sudden you have 6 wreaths to make or 10 bouquets or something to do that needs to be done for the next morning.
Yeah. Do you know, and like even we'd say now the morning of the day, so a couple of us come in an hour earlier and get them done because we'd say to them, oh, you can collect them from 11 o'clock, and we'd come in at 8 o'clock to have them ready for 11. They'd still come light off and the door closed, but it would be unlocked. They'll still come through the door at 9:30 going, it's my first set ready, and they're going, we said 11 o'clock, but anyway, we have it ready. We're gone to the point now we're kind of having them ready for 10 o'clock because we know there'll be one door at 9:30. But,
and would you find that most of your customers are returning customers all the time?
Oh, yeah. No, like we were in the first shop 4.5 years, and we crossed the road then to the better side of the street where there's more pedestrian side of the street. And people were like, oh, you're new. And we were like, no, we're across the road for 4.5 years. And they're like, oh, I never saw you. And we were there kind of going, you were walking up and down this opposite side of the street. And then almost 3 years ago, we moved to this shop, which is twice the size of the old shop. And we still have people coming going, and how long are you open now? And you're there going, we were down the street in Fitzy's for years. And it's actually, I never went in there because, I always thought it was just flowers. Whereas now we're doing more gifty stuff as well. Like we've candles, all kinds of stuff. Handbags. Never seen people to buy some. I don't personally buy handbags. Never seen people buying so many handbags. And it's great. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, it is. Yeah. And I think as well, for an upsell, and just for anyone that's listening, Caitriona is in Macroom in County Cork in South Ireland, would it be, or West Ireland? Where?
Halfway between Cork and Killarney.
Halfway between Cork and Killarney. So if you're outside of Ireland and you're wondering where she is, so Macroom, halfway between Cork and Killarney. Upselling then, so like, do you find like the likes of the candles or the handbags, or are they an upsell to the flowers?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because like the girls here now, 2 of them, they love their jewellery and their handbags and their scarves. There's a wall of scarves here behind me. And fellas will come in for something for an anniversary, and the girls will always manage to either sell them a scarf or a handbag or a candle, or they could be anything. They'll something. But I find if the staff like what's in the shop, they'll sell it. Do you know what I mean? And
would they have an input then with what you buy in then?
Yeah. And I always say, if I buy something in and I'm not gone on it, I'm like, be on your heads. If it doesn't sell, you're going, and that's the first thing that will sell. And I always find if I buy something for myself and I say, right, I'll put it in the shop now on display and I'll take it home then in a couple of weeks when it's, it'll be the first thing to sell out of the shop. And I'm like, I have to buy another one now.
Yeah. But obviously then that you like, your style is what your customers like because they're buying. And that is, I think, a really...
Believe me, I get it wrong. There is a few bits here in the shop that have been here about a couple of years, and I'm looking at them going, it'll go eventually. It'll sit there, go eventually. Don't worry. Yeah. But yeah.
And is that a fear then when you are, because I know you go over to the UK yourself to pick out your Christmas stock in January after Christmas. Yeah. Is that a fear that you get it wrong, or are you now 14 years later confident enough now to know what your customers want?
I still feel the fear every time I'm buying something because I'm like, oh my God, I'm spending 3, 4, 5, 8 grand on stock. What if it doesn't sell? What if it doesn't sell? What am I going to do? Am I going to still be alive to do stuff next year? You know, all that kind of thing.
And tell me, so you do a huge amount of corporate, because I know I met you recently in Leopardstown. So like you come as far as Dublin as well. Yeah. And you do a huge amount of corporate, and we always talked about Caitriona being the queen of the floral arch. Before arches became a thing, Caitriona was the queen of floral arches. Yeah. How do you pull it all together, Caitriona? Like seriously, like running the shop and traveling the country, doing it all.
Well, I go out and do a lot of the arches and stuff like that out of the shop, but the girls are here then in the shop. So like we'll say now on a Wednesday evening I get back, and if we had a wedding on Thursday, I make the wedding late and I head off out, but I leave the mess, and then the girls come and they clean up the mess, because there's nothing harder than trying to do the flowers and then clean up the mess. And by the time I get back from that wedding, then the girls have all the flowers ready for the next wedding. So yeah, so when I leave, and the girls will do the big cleanup when I'm gone, we'll say the wedding, and then I'll come back that evening, and the girls will have the next lot of the wedding we'll say that next day's ready all the flowers. So I can start straight into making for that while they're emptying the van and taking out whatever is coming back. We'll say the frame from the arch or whatever's coming back, and they'll strip out whatever needs to be. And while I'm making, they're nearly loading again.
Right.
For the next day. Do you know what I mean?
Wow,
and
so you have a great system in place.
Oh yeah, and like even with the corporate stuff now in the mornings when the flowers come in here on a Wednesday morning, and I head to Killarney and Kinmare, and while I'm making, we'll say the first hotel, one of the girls is loading it, and then I'm making the second one and she's that loaded, and by the time I'm finished making, I'm just into the van and gone, and then she's cleaning up the I feel like they sit their whole time cleaning up after me, but they don't.
But do you know what? You actually sound very like Jeanette, and I'm the one behind her cleaning up after her. You know what Jeanette's like. She's such a messy worker. But
and I think that's where I got it from, because she was so I like if you saw the shop after me, sometimes the girls call me the hurricane. Like, oh, the hurricane.
But I know, and I've seen you in action, because I know we went down when you were getting married yourself, and you are bang, bang, bang. Like when you have to put together 20 candelabras, you're bang, bang, bang. You have them, you know, you just, and that's what you have to do. I suppose the biggest downfall of a florist is to be a fussy florist.
Yeah. Like every Thursday we do anywhere between 12 and 15 big posies for a hotel every week. And between myself and another girl, we'd have the 15 of them made and in the van in under an hour.
Wow.
And delivered.
And that's, you know what, that's time is money, and that's where you're making your money from.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Do
you know, is that, and that's commercialism, you know?
Yeah. And
tell me
every week.
Yeah. What part of everything of the flower industry that you're in now, what do you love the most?
What do I love the most? I love making the flowers. I love
not cleaning up.
Oh, I hate the cleanup. I'll do it. I hate the cleanup. Even my husband comes in and cleans up after me. Hours and hours making flowers and doing flowers, but then the cleanup, no. I'll happily pay somebody to clean up. I have a cleaner at home. No, I hate cleaning up. As I have to do invoices now and stuff for the hotels, and I'd be there going, oh my God, they'll kill me because I haven't been done for 3 weeks. And I'm like, I make the flowers. Could you just let me make the flowers?
Rather than the admin part of it.
Oh yeah, I hate the admin part. Yeah, I'd hear girls be asking me, because you know, we have to do a quote there for a wedding, and I'd be like, I'd be making a wedding. They're like, what am I selling to this one? I'm like, what does she want? And then I'd call it out, and they're emailing her.
And they'll do it.
I haven't the patience.
Yeah.
Let me at the flowers. All day long, let me at the flowers.
And you know what? I think that you're so typical of most florists, because most creative people are not good at the admin part of it or that part of the business. So it's always good to have sort of somebody there. But you're good on the social media, in fairness. You're good at getting out there. I'm
looking at getting somebody to take it over for me, because I'm not great.
Right.
I'm not. No, I try to be good, and I've noticed that if I stick to certain times, I get more hits on Instagram and all this kind of thing. But I'm still not great at it. I forget about it sometimes. Like
I know.
I was emptying an arch from Saturday's wedding that was windswept, and I was clearing it out outside the door into a bin, and I said, you know what, I'm going to let people see now the shitty side of this job.
This is it. And you know what, you'll actually be amazed. You probably get more views and more reach on something like that than if you were actually making the arch.
Oh God, yeah. And like, I put up a picture there last week of the Hannon truck being 3 hours late with my delivery. But I literally, there was only a picture of the door and the Hannon truck. That got more reaches than any flowers did. And
yeah.
Fine. Right. Okay.
And do you know what? You should get the girls when they're cleaning up your mess, is to video that also. You know, because again, it's something we see here as well.
Them cleaning up the mess.
So we say, like, obviously we are a flower school and we're training florists to work in the industry, and eventually, and I know you have taken on a lot of our past students on work experience and, you know, employ them as well. But what advice would you give to anyone going into the industry? So thinking about starting to train as a florist, what type of advice would you give them?
Feel the fear and do it anyway. That was my motto when I started, because I'll never forget the day I opened. I cried. how am I going to do this? What have I done? But you just keep going and do a little dance every time you get that order. And
Cha-ching.
yeah, you get your first wedding and you get it, you stress and you cry. And like, I'm 14 years into it. And my heart, it's like a ball in my stomach every time I walk in the door of the house or door of a hotel with a wedding bouquet to a bride. And I'm like, oh God, is she going to like this? I'm 14 years at it. I still have it.
You still have that fear.
Still feel the fear, but I get up and I do it, and I, you know,
yeah,
absolutely crazy busy. When we get back from holidays there now on the 12th of October, the Christmas decorations are going to start coming out for hotels and the shop itself, and we've weddings right through Christmas, and like hotels don't close over Christmas, so we still have to do all the corporate stuff.
And so do you offer the service then to go into houses as well as hotels to decorate their houses?
No, I can't. No. Because for the simple reason, I put up my first Christmas tree on the 1st of November this year, and we put up about 500 Christmas trees between that and the 29th of November.
Wow.
And then we start into Christmas weddings and the shop at Christmas, and then we're into Christmas. And I have a wedding, I think, this year on the 2nd of January. And then on the 4th of January, we start taking down decorations again. And like what took us a month to put up, we've got a week to take down.
A week to take down, right, okay.
So to get it down, and then we're no sooner finished taking it down and packing it away, and we're getting ready for Valentine's.
It is. It's a non-stop loop, isn't it?
Yeah, because we finish the hotels, and then we come back to the shop. And then we'd kind of let the stuff sell on, we'll say in the month of January, for the Christmas stock to sell it off. And then as soon as, we'll say the last week in January, we start packing away whatever we haven't sold. And then we're bringing 2 weeks to Valentine's. And then it's 4 weeks to Mother's Day after Valentine's. So you're not getting the thorns out of your fingers from Valentine's when you're... And people say,
would you do anything else? Would you do a different job?
No. I don't think so, because I often say, I'm going to retire, and they're like, what would you do, Caitriona? I'm like, nothing. This will say I can do.
Yeah. Caitriona, do you know what? It's been just a buzz. And I know because we've met you on numerous occasions. We've had you here in the school. There's so much energy behind you. I don't know where you ever get the energy to keep going. You're like a Duracell bunny. You just never stop. But it shows in what you do.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you talking to us. And like even listen for other florists that are thinking of starting out in the industry or thinking of opening up a flower shop, you know, you've given them a real...
They're more than welcome to come down anytime and see the nitty gritty.
Yeah, and you know what? In the comments here, I'm going to be putting, or in the description, I'm going to be putting the contacts to Caitriona's shop in Macroom. And if anybody is passing by, do pop in and say hello and have a look at them handbags.
Yeah, no, anybody to call in, even if it's just like that now, to see where we have the bins or see something or how we do something, by all means call it.
And I know that, and Caitriona, I know you're always so welcoming to our students, our past students, who do want to see what is the real life in a flower shop like, because it isn't always what you see in front, and not all florists have a team behind them to clean up after them either.
I have a great team of cleaner-uppers.
A great team. And I know they're great florists as well, because I've seen what they have done again. Listen, Caitriona, thank you so much for talking to us today. I've really enjoyed it. Can't wait to do it again.
Totally. Come on. I'll let you go, so because I'm...
Okay, listen.
Bye, hon.
Super. Thanks a million. Talk to you soon.
Bye.